you ever dreamed of a life free from the clutches of alcohol?
A life where you wake up clear, focused, and truly alive.
Well, you're not alone. But here's the twist. The path is riddled with hidden traps. In this video, I'm going to reveal the two most dangerous pitfalls that catch thousands off guard, and it is not what you are thinking. It's sneakier, more seductive, and has the power to derail even the most determined among us. I've seen it firsthand in my own journey and in the lives of the countless other people that I've helped. We all thought we were prepared, but none of us were ready for this. And not only will I reveal the pitfalls, but I'll show you exactly how to overcome them. And for those of you that stick around to the very end of the video, I'll be showing you a cheat code to staying sober for as long as you want. And why should you listen to me? I'm Leon Sylvester, and over the past 5 years, I turned my life around from a decade of struggling with alcohol to helping over 350 clients, including top professionals from NASA and Google, do the same through my company, SoberClear.com, all by using a mental model called First Principles Thinking. Now, the first unseen pitfall is something deeply personal and often hidden, even from ourselves. It's a trap that I fell into during my own journey, and it starts with a story from my teenage years when I told an outright lie to my new friend's mum because I was so ashamed that she'd find me out. I remember on one of my first days of secondary school, every day after school, there was a boy that used to wait for his mum outside of the police station. We both got chatting, and we soon realized we actually lived in the same area of the same village. He invited me to ride with his mum, and I accepted. Now, as we were approaching our village, I realized something that sent shivers down my spine. They didn't quite live in the same area as me. When they actually told me where they lived, I could just feel my chest sink. So, do you want dropping off on the estate? Like, where's your house? His mum asked. And when his mum asked this, I could feel my heart rate increase. I wasn't sure what to do. The car started feeling smaller and smaller, and I just wanted to get out the car and run home. My house is just near the alleyway. Please, can you just drop me off there? I asked his mum. I felt like time slowed down. I said a prayer, hoping that they wouldn't ask for more information. We got to the alleyway, and I thought I'd gotten away with it. There you go, Leon. Which one's your house? And I remember just pointing off in the distance towards some of the nicer houses in the area, and I said, it's just over there. And then I scurried off into the alleyway, hoping that I wouldn't be found out. Now, you'll see how this is related to controlling your drinking in a moment. But I actually grew up in government social housing. In England, they're called council houses, and I grew up pretty poor. Right next to the government housing was a new estate with detached houses, which is probably similar to a gated community in the States. And this new friend of mine who I'd just met lived here. See, all I wanted was to be accepted by this new friend, and internally I had this deep pain of not feeling good enough. And I remember it always manifested as this sinking feeling in my chest. Maybe you can relate. Maybe you felt that emotion as well. I think at some point in our lives we've all felt this way. And if I'm truly honest with you, this feeling of not being good enough, it wasn't just a childhood memory. It was a shadow that followed me into my adult life. Now here's where alcohol comes into the picture. When I started drinking alcohol, these negative feelings of shame and not being good enough, they soon melted away. And when I drank, for a moment, I found a feeling of relief, of escape. And for many of us, alcohol starts to become a mask, a way to hide those deep-seated feelings of inadequacy or shame. Now, when I began my journey of sobriety 5 years ago, I expected some physical challenges. Some withdrawal, bad sleep, maybe some sweating. But what I didn't expect was how stopping drinking would force me to confront these buried emotions head on. See, when I sobered up 5 years ago, I took inventory of my life, and that same sinking feeling in my chest came back. When I stopped drinking, I was overweight, my face was bloated, I was financially broke, and my relationships with my loved ones were average at best. I was a mess. And if you can relate to not being happy with your life, this isn't necessarily a bad thing. Because here's the good news. Rather than escape that emotion through the bottle, this time I accepted it. What I did is I went all in on solving the root cause of the problem, which was basically my low self-esteem. So I built a vision for my life, and instead I just started going towards that. I didn't sit around and talk about my problems with anybody. I just started fixing things. So when you stop drinking alcohol, you need to anticipate some negative emotions to come to the surface. Not feeling good enough, anxiety, stress, these kind of things, they happen to all of us. And if you don't expect it to happen, your default response could be to escape, and that is the last thing that we want to happen. We don't want to escape these emotions because the risk is turning back to alcohol. Instead, you must learn to accept these emotions and get to work on solving the cause of them. And for 99% of us, that involves building an exciting and big vision for our lives. Every time we drink alcohol, it smashes our self-esteem. And this is why having a vision is so important. Feeling good about ourselves is about following through with what we say we're going to do. It's about the positive daily actions that we take. But if you don't know where you're going, you don't know what those actions should be. So your journey to sobriety must start with a vision. And I just want to say, if you watch this channel, I know you have greatness within you. I know you want more for your life. We all want to be healthier, have better relationships, and have more an impact with our work. And the great news is this: if you are able to accept these negative emotions when stopping drinking alcohol, the life of your dreams isn't just a possibility. It will slowly become a reality. I can promise you that. Now, confronting and accepting these internal emotions is just the beginning. There's another side to the path, one that's equally challenging, yet often overlooked. And this brings us to the second pitfall, the external factors. And the biggest external factor that we will face is in our relationships. As you go through this journey, you'll find that people's reaction to your decision to quit drinking can vary greatly. On one hand, you'll encounter incredible supporters, those who uplift you, who understand your journey, and who cheer for your every step forward. On the other hand, there's the phenomenon that I like to call crabs in a bucket. Just as a crab tries to climb out of a bucket only to be pulled back by the others, some people in your life might not be supportive of your change. I remember when I stopped drinking alcohol, I told a person that I worked with, "Dude, I'm not drinking anymore." And he looked at me and he said, "Yeah right, Leon, here we go again." And these crabs could be friends who you've shared drinks with, or even family members uncomfortable with your new lifestyle. These individuals might consciously or unconsciously attempt to pull you back into those old habits. So how do we deal with these people? How do we ensure that the people around us don't derail our journey to a healthier life? Well, let's explore 4 actionable steps that you can take. And if I were you, I'd pause the video right now, I'd grab a pen and paper, because this may require some work on your end. Now, the first thing is probably the most important thing. But with that pen and paper, you want to start writing a list of all the people in your life that genuinely support your sobriety. These are the awesome people who encourage you, respect your journey, and provide the positive reinforcement that's vital during challenging times. So the first step is recognizing your support system. The second thing that you want to do is write another list of the crabs in the bucket. These are the people who will try and pull you back. These are the people who you're probably going to give a wider berth to, especially in the first few weeks and months ahead. As long as you anticipate them, you'll be in a much better place. Now, the third thing is one of the hardest things, but you may need to start setting firm boundaries with those who are negatively impacting your life. Sometimes it's impossible to cut out the crabs in the bucket, but you might need to communicate very clear boundaries with them. And the fourth step is something I did in my own life, and I started building new relationships with people who were more in alignment with what I wanted for my sober life. I started finding friends that didn't drink alcohol, that were healthy, that were in relationships, that had their own business. And this is really the fourth thing. It's starting new relationships. It's finding new people to surround yourself with. So now you're equipped with how to deal with some of the internal and external factors that you will face on this journey, let's discuss how you can stay sober for as long as you want. Now, on this path, you essentially have 2 options. The first option is to do all of this alone. Now, I'm not saying it's impossible to do all of this alone, but it's going to be a lot more challenging. It requires resilience, willpower, personal strength, and you'll have no way of gaining insights and feedback. It's also more isolating, and there's a higher chance that you'll fail. On the other hand, you can choose to walk this path with help. And this is the path that I'd recommend, because having a network of people who understand what you're going through can make a significant difference. You want people around you who can offer you advice, encouragement, and empathy. Doing this with other people is not just about having people to lean on during tough times, it's about sharing experiences, strategies, and successes. For some people, they find that community in the gym. Others find it at church, and some may find it in AA meetings. I've found great support systems in gyms. One of my best friends from England has lent on God to overcome some of his addictions, and my mum found it in AA. But finding a support system can make all of the difference. Now, if you're a business owner or a professional, I want to invite you to apply to join the Sober Clear program. If you click the link in the description, you can schedule a time to speak with our team, and on that call, we'll be explaining the exact steps that you'll take to go from struggling with alcohol to being in control. And one thing I can tell you for sure is that when you follow our system, the process of stopping drinking will be easy, enjoyable, fun, and you'll have a way higher chance of succeeding. It's not for everybody, but if you think you've got what it takes, go ahead, click the link in the description or go to soberclear.com/YouTube now.